Hey, what is up everyone? It's 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Hope you people are doing good. I woke up watching Argentina winning a Copa America game, and on a good note, it's drizzling outside after almost a week or even more than that. And to celebrate that, I will be showing you how to get those high-end Hollywood movie-like cinematic tones on your photos right away from a device that sits right on your pocket. Before you jump onto it, first coffee. So throughout the revolutionary journey of photography as an art form, from the days of film and darkroom edits to today's digital photography and Lightroom edits, color correction and color grading had always been an integral part, and it never fails to amaze me that a device this big that fits our palm and sits right in our pocket and our everyday carry is capable of just transforming your photos to anything you wish, from correcting the lighting section with all those sliders to adding some contrast with curves and transforming the whole color of a whole photo to give it some extraordinary look. It's all possible in an app that's available in our fingertips. And how amazing is it to edit your photos right at your fingertips while sipping your cold coffee or grabbing a bite from your cupcake or even reading books. And with crazy possibilities of adjustment with tabs like HSL and curves, this opens up a plethora of possibility of color grading and color correcting your photos. So today we will be jumping into Lightroom Mobile and we will be turning our boring photo to somewhat looking like a still from a high-end Hollywood movie. So let's jump on into this. So to start off today's edit, we will be jumping straight into Lightroom Mobile to demonstrate how this works. We already have our photo imported to the Lightroom library. Let's just reset all its editing attributes. And this is a photo that was taken back in December 2019 in Gokarna. And I will be demonstrating the whole color grading thing on this photo initially, and then I will be trying some other photos as well. So let's jump straight into the lighting section. This section basically controls the overall lighting condition of the photo. To get that cinematic sort of look, the first thing we need to do is pull the exposure down to around minus 1.5-ish to give it some sort of dark vibe. Also, we are pulling the contrast all the way down to around 25 to 30 so that the photo gets flattened, and at the same time it adds some sort of faded look in the shadows. Now we will pull the highlights down to get back some details back in the blown out section of the sky and the water itself. And also I am not using the paid version of Lightroom, so I don't have the flexibility to adjust the lighting and colors of some selected part of the photo. So what we will do is we are going to zoom in the photo a bit to our subject, so we have a good sense of how well exposed our subject is. So we will be pulling up the shadows a bit so that the boat and the fisherman looks well exposed, and we will be pulling the whites all the way down so that it gets rid of all the bright parts of the water and the bokeh in the background. Now let's zoom out, and we won't be touching blacks for now. Now in the topmost section of this, there's another thing that is called curve. So just in case you haven't figured out how this works, or if this thing freaks you out, I have a good tutorial with some good examples, and that will be linked somewhere here or here. Just go and check it out. You might end up figuring out how easy this can and how this might open up a plethora of possibilities of color grading for you. So for this example, won't be doing much. We'll be adding some points in the intersection of the grid that is provided. We'll be pulling up the black towards the upward direction so that it adds some sort of faded look in the shadows again, and we'll be creating the most discussed and popular S-curve to add some sort of contrast to the photo. So this already has added some sort of deep contrasty look to the photo, and so with some rich highlights and faded away shadows. That's the basic of cinematic looks. But one more thing you need to keep in mind, that when you induce some sort of contrast to a photo, it enhances your saturation to some level, to some extent. So you need to keep that in mind and act accordingly. So now this photo looks totally blue, and to negate that, all you need to do is pull up the temperature a bit upwards. Probably plus 35ish looks good, and we'll be pulling the tint down towards the greenish look. That's the basic of the whole cinematic vibe. So as I told earlier, that with some sort of adding contrast will make the photo oversaturated. So to keep that, we will be pulling the saturation down to around minus 20ish looks good. Also, we'll be pulling up the vibrance a bit so that the colors pop up. We want our oranges and also blues to pop up, but without looking oversaturated. So that's the whole motive of this. So let's go to this color grading part. Basically, this helps you to add a selected color with some sort of saturation control to some portion of the photo, like in the highlights, in the shadows and the midtones separately. So for shadows, we will be using some sort of bluish tone, and we'll be pulling the saturation down so that the photo doesn't look oversaturated. This looks fine for me. For the midtones, I won't be touching this much. Let's go straight into the highlights and add some sort of oranges hue to the photo so that there's some sort of pinkish sunset vibe to the photo. This looks good. The sky is orange now to some extent. The blues are on point. We just need to play around with the hues and the saturation of the individual color channels to get our desired look now. So we will move on to this mix part. This basically is the HSL control that we have in other versions of Lightroom, like for desktop and all. So let's just do it similarly. For reds, there's not much red in this photo. I will keep it as it is. For orange, I will be pulling it towards the red so that this bokeh in the background tends to be red. We'll be keeping the saturation as it is. For yellows, again we will be pulling the yellows towards the orange or around red. It's all about your preferences. I just love my yellows and oranges towards the red. I just love those tasty orangey and red colors. So we'll be pulling the saturation down so that it doesn't take the focus away from our subject. So that's pretty much it. Let's zoom out a bit. For the greens, I will be pulling the saturation down so that the water doesn't look that deep. Also, I will be pulling it towards the darker side of the hue so that the photo looks even more moody. Also, I will be pulling the luminance down so that the water gets dark. And for aquas, I will be again pulling it towards the blues, deeper blues, and pulling the saturation down. And for blues, I will be pulling it towards the teal. So that's pretty much it. You can do some additional tweaks to get similar looks, or you can just keep experimenting till you just get satisfied with this vibe and look from this sort of edit. This is the before, this is the after. That looks pretty good to me, and that's pretty much it. Now I have made a preset out of the whole edit, and I will be trying them on couple of other photos to just demonstrate how they're working on other photos. And I will be linking both the desktop and the mobile version in the description below. Just grab them and have fun. So let's jump into here and just try it over on this photo. We'll go to the presets, and this is the preset I have created. I should have shot a film. Look, this is the before and this is the after. This is the before and this is the after. So that looks pretty good, I guess. Now here's another photo from Himachal. Let's see how this works on a such photo. Again, this is the before and this is the after. So that looks pretty good. Here's another travel photo from Bead. I will be applying the preset on this as well, just to show you how this looks like with this preset. So this is the airy greens and beautiful paragliders surfing all over the sky, and this is the moody and cinematic version of the same photo. So hope this video was helpful and you got a good knowledge of how this sort of cinematic tones are being achieved in Lightroom Mobile, and there's no limitation of this. Basically, you can achieve whatever you want and whatever you feel like. Just keep on experimenting, keep on learning how the sliders work, and this can just pull up your color grading game to some other level. Also, I have made the preset and it is available for both the desktop and mobile version. I have linked that below in the description as well. So just grab those presets, apply them on your photos, post them on Instagram, and you can tag me, and my Instagram handle will be linked below as well. And just in case you don't know how to install this presets and all, I will be linking a good guide as well in the description so that it helps you out. With that being said, signing off. We'll see you in the next video, and also I will be glad to know about your suggestions on what should be the topics for my next videos and upcoming videos that I should cover upon. Also, who doesn't love freebies? So just in case you loved it, you can hit the thumbs up button to this video and consider subscribing to my channel, just in case you are into photography and filmmaking stuff. Until then, see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care.